Hello everyone and welcome to our next English lesson. As you can see, the topic is themes and structure. We will be looking at the Arabian Nights tales for the purpose of this objective. We are learning to identify themes and structures within traditional fiction. What are the themes and structures of the 1001 Arabian Nights stories? Remember, your task is to help Scheherazade by writing additional Arabian Nights stories. You will need to have a theme and/or a structure that is similar to the original stories. And also, they need to contain some authentic early Islamic aspects if your stories are going to be convincing to the king. Can you remember any of the Arabian Nights tales? You may have read some of them. Well done if you did. Today we will be looking at two stories for the purpose of this objective. The first is Ali Baba and the 40 Thieves. The second is a video of Aladin. Ali Baba and the 40 Thieves. Ali Baba and Qasim were two brothers. Qasim was rich and lived in wealth and plenty. Ali Baba was a woodcutter struggling to make a living, and his wife and children were very poor. Ali Baba was in the forest, and he saw a troop of robbers. They were hurrying past, carrying bags of silver and gold. Being very frightened, he hid behind some rocks on the mountainside. He saw the robbers ride round the mountain towards a sheer cliff face. Then the leader of the robbers, a tall, cunning man, paused the company and shouted at the mountainside, "Open sesame!" To Ali Baba's astonishment, the cliff swung open and the entire troop rode into the huge cavern. The mountain shut behind them. Ali Baba was too scared to move. He stayed hidden behind the rocks. Finally, he saw the troops reappear from the mountain. The robbers scattered and ran off through the forest. Ali Baba waited. Then he approached the cliff face. "Open sesame!" he cried, and stood amazed as the mountainside opened. Very cautiously, Ali Baba crept inside the mountain. He looked around and saw a grand cavern lit from fissures in the rock. There were great heaps of silver and gold and baskets of glittering jewels. Ali Baba could not believe his eyes. He emptied the wood chips from his sacks and filled them with gold, silver, and jewels. Finally, he stood before the rock face. "Open sesame!" he cried again. The mountain sprang open. Ali Baba dragged his heavy sacks outside. He loaded his treasure on his donkey, waiting patiently by the trees. When he got home, he showed his wife the treasure. Ali Baba's family moved into a comfortable house and bought food and drink. He swore his wife to secrecy, telling her not to boast of their good luck. But Ali Baba's wife could not help boasting to her sister-in-law. She told her that Ali Baba was richer than Qasim. Qasim came to his brother and threatened him. I will tell everyone you have stolen some treasure if you do not show me where to find it. Ali Baba, more out of kindness than fear, told him of the cave. He explained how the magic words opened the mountainside. Qasim set out with a donkey packed around with great panniers. When he got to the mountainside, he stared up. Open sesame! Once again the mountain opened to reveal the cavern inside. Qasim rushed in, dragging his donkey with him. He stared at the treasure. He loaded the donkey with all the gold, silver, and jewels it could carry. Then he turned to open the doors to get out. Oh no! Shock, horror! Qasim had forgotten the magic words. He tried all the words he could think of, but nothing worked. Alakazam! Open Satsuma! Abracadabra! Open Amora! But nothing worked. When the robbers returned to the cavern, they discovered Qasim. They killed him and cut his body into 4 pieces. Ali Baba was worried about Qasim. Why had he not come home? He decided to revisit the cavern to find out. He was very shocked to find his brother's body hacked into pieces. He collected more treasure and carried his brother's body tenderly home. Ali Baba gave Qasim a great funeral. His family moved into a larger house with his brother's widow and children. The robbers returned to their cavern. They were furious. They discovered the body gone and yet more treasure missing. The chief robber decided to track down the person responsible. He heard all about Qasim's funeral and Ali Baba's new house. He sent one of his robbers to find out where Ali Baba lived. In the dark of the night, he was to draw a chalk mark on the door. Ali Baba had a very clever and beautiful serving girl. Her name was Morgiana, and she loved Ali Baba and his family. In the morning, Morgiana saw the chalk mark on their door. She guessed immediately what it meant. Morgiana drew chalk marks on many other houses in the street. No one could tell which was the house the robber had marked. When the chief robber found how his plan had been foiled, he was mad. He was determined to kill Ali Baba. He waited and listened and found out where Ali Baba lived. Then he came to visit, disguised as an oil merchant. The chief robber showed Ali Baba his 40 jars of oil. Really, only one was full of oil? The rest had robbers hidden inside them. Ali Baba took the oil merchant inside his big iron gates. He thanked him for the oil. Then he invited him to a lovely supper. While they were eating, Morgiana came out for oil. She discovered the robbers hiding in the oil jars. When it got dark, Morgiana took out a huge pot of boiling oil. She tipped it into each of the jars containing a robber. All the robbers died or fled. The chief robber was left alone. When he discovered what had happened, he too ran away. Ali Baba realized that Morgiana was his good and faithful servant. He asked her to marry his son and to become part of his family. They all lived happily ever after together. Okay, girls, at this point, I would like you to pause the video and have a think about the story. You also can rewind and go back to the story to think about the events. While you're thinking about the events, consider some of the themes in the story. So you can see that the two brothers at the beginning, there was a difference there. One was very rich and wealthy, one was really poor. So one of the themes could be rags to riches, how a poor man becomes a rich man. Okay, it could also be a theme of greed, and think about who was the greedy one in the story and how did this impact on his life. Okay, so I'd like you to make some notes about it. We will come back to discussing the themes at the end. Now you are going to watch a video of Aladin. What I would like you to do at this point is click on the link. Now, if the link does not work from here, you can go to your lesson schedule and click on the link below independent work. All right? Okay, good girls. So now that you have had a listen to the story of Ali Baba and you watched a video of Aladdin, I'd like you to think about the structure and the themes. Before you come to complete your independent task, which is over here, it says compile a list of ideas about the themes. Now remember, all ideas are good ideas because they will promote discussion, okay? You can have a talk about it in your notes, or if mom's supporting you or daddy's supporting you, you can discuss that with them. You could think about events in the different stories that represent common themes. Going back to discussion, girls, I know that some of you are on your telephones to your friends, and you might want to use the opportunity to discuss and share your ideas there as well. If you want to move your learning deeper, which I do suggest you do, taking your learning deeper, you can, in addition to your notes, you can evaluate your ideas, okay, in order of importance. So which one do you think is most important? Put that at the top, and then the ones that are least important go to the bottom. And you can prepare to justify your opinions. Why do you think, for example, if you think the theme of greed should be at the top, why? Can you justify from events in the story? Okay, that will be how you take your learning further. So let us have a think then about some of the themes which we discussed already. So looking at many of the Arabian Nights stories, they do tell of men who rise from poverty to wealth and prosperity, don't they? As also seen with Aladdin, Ali Baba, and also another story, Sinbad. In each of these stories, the protagonist, remember protagonist from our story on Mowgli? The protagonist begins with very little to show for himself. The protagonist will be the main character, but then manages to rise in society, both through luck, quick wit, and perseverance. Okay, that's one of the themes you could look at. Luck and good fortune could be another. Often a character finds success in these stories through some rare stroke of good luck, okay? Ali Baba just happened to be in the vicinity of the robbers when they opened the cave. So he knew how to access the cave and take the treasure. He was just at the right place at the right time, wasn't he? Okay, you could also then look at the theme of adventure and daring. Okay, it was present throughout nearly all of these stories. In the Seven Voyages of Sinbad and the Sailor, if you do happen to come across that story, You would note that Sinbad had a thirst for adventure on the open sea that could not be quelled with merely a voyage or two. He made many voyages across the sea. Other major characters regularly faced obstacles that tested their wits, strength, and agility. All these are elements of tales of adventure stories, all right? We already discussed the theme of greed, and these focus strongly on wealth and riches. Okay, greed often arises as a vice. That means it's an evil thing for characters. They must counter in themselves and others. The magician in Aladdin and the 40 Thieves are some of the characters we met who caused trouble in order to satisfy their own greed. All right, so I'd like you now, as we come to the close of this session, revisit some of the stories and think about what are the themes and structures here. So in your notebooks, in your notepads, in your distance learning books, jot down some of the themes. I'd like you to structure them in long sentences and sort of have them in paragraphs. All right, so paragraph one theme, paragraph two another, paragraph three another. In each of those paragraphs, you would put in evidence. Don't just list the themes, but put in some evidence to justify why you have chosen that particular theme. All right, girls, thank you very much for listening to your lesson today. Have a good evening.